Another book titled Becoming the Universe would highlight the whole life of a human being from the time they're a baby till the time they're an adult. And as it goes through the phases of life, it'll say how this thing connects to insects and bugs and whatever like that. So it'll include all those other things, but it'll just go through the human form and explain emotional things that we need to go through and explain scenarios that we need to go through, basically all of them. But I'll also include things in there like how karma is working throughout life, to like how people with less set intentions have things happen to them more randomly. Like say someone's playing a football game and this person who has no idea about his consciousness, you know, he's doing good, he hasn't done anything that wrong, but he didn't do anything, he didn't set his intention, so he's just sort of just going through life, allowing things to happen. Two people, you know, one person tackles a person too hard and he's like, "You're an asshole," and like yells something at them. They're on the ground where they're laying. Then the next person who this whole thing is about, the very first person I mentioned that, you know, didn't do anything wrong, he's actually a very good person, but he doesn't have any intention set, and it allows him open for, you know, mishaps, which people would call mishaps, but they're not mishaps. They're all universal laws taking effect. The karma of that spot in the grass there immediately responded when he goes to run and he steps on that spot and he twists his ankle. And it might seem silly, but that's how things happen. Why do accidents happen where they happen? Why do things happen in the space they happen? Like in what area, the exact spot? There's all a meaning to it. It's just you'd have to be super scientifically, you know, enabled to figure that kind of thing out. But that's not something that really needs figured out. The details of how something ended up being that way, like a situation through, you know, the plants and the air and the molecules. I mean, that's nothing anyone's going to be able to figure out. I mean, and if it would be a waste of time to do it because there's some bigger, more important things to worry about. But that was the idea for Becoming a Universe. And at the end, it'll basically say how, you know, not at the end, but throughout the book, it'll say, you know, the reason that you have to be able to accept violence and pain and heartache and gore and dismemberment and just the grossest, nastiest things all the way. I mean, of course, it's really easy to tolerate the most beautiful things and the most vibrant things and, you know, things that make you feel good. But you got to tolerate all the things that make you feel horrible, even things you couldn't imagine. Because if you were God, in order to, you know, unconditionally love everything, then you would have to accept everything the way it is, or else you'd be wanting to destroy yourself because it's part of you too. So it makes sense. So in order to become a universe, when you finally become the universe, you are accepting of all things, and you are universal love. You love all things. So therefore, when they say, you are everything, I am everything, you know, all is one, it makes sense because the destiny, what you are doing is becoming God. And basically, God is a universe. So every time someone becomes God, another universe is formed for you. So, lots of crazy stuff. You know, when somebody makes up something like that and says, "Oh, what if there's a universe that has a blah, 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 blah?" That's a dimension. There's a difference between a dimension and a universe. But when a person is enlightened and they make it all the way through the earth school and the astral school and the divine school, you know, then they become the universe. So there is more steps to it, and it seems really hard to fathom, but it's not really at all once you experience it. But you got to start somewhere, just in embracing the idea that you're a spirit inside a human body is the first step. Because, you know, if you can't do that, if you can't accept the idea that, you know, you're a spirit in a body, then you're not going to be able to even fathom the ideas of becoming the universe yourself. Because, you know, if you close your eyes and you think thoughts and you hear them in your head, you're talking and hearing at the same time, and that's not you talking, that's your spirit. That's how you actually communicate with yourself. Your spirit is telling you what to do. You're not really in control if you think that you're a human being. So if you think that you're the human being, you're never in control. Once you realize that you're something greater than that inside, then you become the one in control. But so eventually you'll become a universe.